guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tatiana and I'm the owner of the stationery Muse, and I love to inspire you guys to go for what you want in your lives, especially when that comes to entrepreneurship. And so I'm really excited for today's topic because we're going to be talking all about the ways that I kind of pull myself out of a funk and really get motivated to get started with my business after just different seasons in my life. And so if you didn't see one of my previous videos, maybe not the last video, but the one before that, I believe, when this video is going up, I shared just kind of my journey of right now in this season of my life of how overwhelmed I've been. And first of all, I just want to thank all of you guys so much for all of the sweet comments, the prayers, the thoughts. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's helped me so much with this, as well as just also seeing that there are so many other people that are dealing with the same things. And so I'm really happy that I opened up about that, because I'm always here to keep it real with y'all, you know that, but just to really get to know you all on a deeper level. And so I was really grateful for the feedback that I received, and I was happy to show that side of myself as well, so you guys can see that I'm human, I'm struggling right along with you in different seasons. But one thing that is really important about this channel to me, and even just within my own life, just my journey, my purpose, is to constantly uplift and inspire you all. And so even though I am still currently dealing with these things in the midst of chaos within my life of just trying to figure out all of the different things right now, that doesn't mean that I just continue to put all of my dreams, my businesses and things on hold. In fact, I decided to just take a little bit of a step back from it. And so now I'm back, I'm ready to get into it full force again. And I wanted to share with you guys some of my tips and ways that I have kind of come out of that negative feeling, because sometimes we can get kind of stuck in it, right? Like, we know that it's not the best for us. We know that there's so many things we have potential to do, and yet we continue to put it off and just, you know, next month, next year, because of our current circumstances. And so I really wanted to talk to you guys today about 5 tips, 5 actual things that I have done myself over the last couple of months to really help me get to a point that I'm at today where I'm ready to really hit the ground running again, because entrepreneurship is a constant, you know, like it's a constant race against yourself, right? And you're gonna have those times where you really feel kind of down. You may feel a little bit uncertain about things. You may feel overwhelmed, which is my case, but eventually it comes back around. And if it's something on your heart, it's always going to be there. And so the first one, and to me the most important one, is that you really have to give it to God. And even if you are not a believer, I still feel like you really want to find a way that you can really let go of the things that you can't control. And I know for me in my personal situation, there's a lot of things and factors that I really just can't control right now, with just so much uncertainty going on within my own life, and just trying to figure things out and navigate. And I think we all are dealing with that in some aspect, especially with the way things have been for over the last year now in the world. So we all are dealing with different things within some capacity. And so I have really had to learn to let go and let God. This has become one of my staple phrases that I will say when it applies to life, when it applies to business, when it just applies to when you get to a point when you feel like, okay, I can no longer carry this burden of trying to figure this out, being worried, being negative, crying, whatever the case is. I have to get this off of me. I have to let go of this baggage. And so that's exactly what I did. And after I had actually realized that it was happening, I finally was like, okay, I am in a season right now where I don't really know exactly what to do right now. I don't really know what to focus on. I'm just kind of knowing that I'm not feeling my best and I'm feeling very stuck. And one of the words I used that video was hopeless. And so I really just had to give it to God. I had to let Him just take my worries when it came to all of those things and just live my day-to-day as happy as I could and just be the best person I could, because it's really hard to do that when you are constantly being weighed down by negative thoughts and just negative things that are not really fueling you to do the positive work and things that you want to do. So that is really how that works. And with Let Go and Let God, I'm really big on attending church regularly, virtually, every Sunday. So that's something that I always do. I read a lot of devotionals, I pray, And just I'm trying to become a better woman of God within this season of my life. So that is just, it'll look different for different people, but I think it's so important to always do that. And we don't always think to do that first because we feel like, you know, it's our problem, we can figure it out. But I feel like I always end up going back to that. Even like last year around this time when I was extremely anxious, dealing with panic attacks and going to therapy and all of those things like that, I really had to just let God handle that situation because it was only so much that I could do. Okay, so number 2 is to step away and rest. And this is very hard for, especially if you are like me, just for people that are, I've been seeing this word a lot, high performance individuals. And I'm not necessarily sure if that's me. I don't know if I fall under that category. But what I will say is I always feel guilty if I haven't been doing something for my business. If I've let a day or two go by and I didn't get the things done that I had on my list, or, you know, I put myself off. I have learned that especially within this current season, the season of feeling overwhelmed right now, my job, which is starting to get a lot better, thank God, as well as, you know, just my business has been picking up, and being here with my daughter, my husband going back to work full time, like so many different moving parts, just trying to figure all of these things and navigate. And so I decided that even though my business is extremely important to me, my businesses are extremely important to me, I wanted to step back as much as possible. And I have clients and things like that, so I didn't stop meeting with my clients. I still did that because I actually find pure joy in working with the women that I work with. And so that actually really helps me, you know, when I'm feeling down. It helps me to be able to help others. But outside of that, like the Stationary Muse, they're running these new products. I worked on the planners and got those out, but I really just gave my mind a chance to rest and not put pressure on myself, but instead really just give myself grace in this season and to realize that I am only hurting myself right now trying to push for what I just don't have the time or the energy to do right now. I always know that anytime I do something like this, I'm always going to come back to it. It's not like an indefinite pause, but I knew that I just needed to basically just take a month to kind of be like, okay, whew, and actually ended up being a little bit over a month, honestly. And so that really gets me into the third part, which is to fill that time with the things that you love to do, or, you know, discovering something new. And so for me, what I decided to do was to really focus all of my energy into getting healthy, taking care of my body. I feel like there are so many things that I cannot control within this world, within my life, but I know that I can control the way that my body feels. I can control me taking care of myself, and that feels good. And so I started really looking into some different programs, and I started getting pretty active regularly about mid-February. And so I've been working out regularly for a little over a month now, and it feels amazing because it's something that I know I can control. It's also time for myself. I typically do it in the morning when I first get up, before my daughter's up, before my husband is up, on the days that he is here, like on the weekend and stuff. And it's really an opportunity for me to let out frustrations, you know, things like that. And I've never really been an active person, so that's why it's such a huge deal for me. But what I have found is that working out is something that I absolutely love to do. And it really just gives me this new kind of hobby that's outside of entrepreneurship. It's outside of all of the things that come naturally to me. You know, I'm not a super fit person. I didn't do sports in high school or college or anything like that. I'm not athletic. So all of these things are very new to me, discovering all of this stuff, and I love it. Like, I'm obsessed with it, and I really love learning about how I can continue to take care of my body, you know, eating the right things, the types of exercises I need to do to really feel my best. And so that is what I decided to fill my time with. And so for you, really think about what are some things that are outside of what you do for your business, because sometimes we have to take a step back from that. And even though my business is filled with a lot of things I love, like graphic design, planning, you know, all of those things, like I stopped using my planner. Like I just really stepped away from all of the things so that when I came back, I felt refreshed and almost kind of thirsty in a sense to get back into it, because we just need that sometimes, you know, and you can't force it. You have to just realize sometimes, okay, this is just obviously not the season right now for me to focus on this. I'm going to come back at this point and we'll kind of go from there. So I knew that I wanted to start back in April, which I'm just a couple of days shy of April at this point. So I'm kind of wrapping up with my little break that I took from just really just a grace period, literally a grace period for myself to just kind of reset. And so the fourth one is to revisit the why. And so yesterday I actually sat down. I'm planning out my quarter two very in depth. I'm working on all of the things that I've been talking about, my planner masterclass, my anniversary month in May. I'm doing my Live, Love, Inspire Woman series again in June. All of these things are coming up. I have a big quarter ahead. And so I really wanted to focus on that. But before I even took the time to start the plans, I really just sat back and I'm like, okay, what do I really want people to get from me when they encounter me, whether that is my products, my channel, my social media accounts, my emails, or whatever it is that I'm going to be sending starting, when April hits. What are the things that I'm wanting people to take away from their interaction with me? What is the why behind that? Why am I doing it? And so I really had to revisit my why, because even though I tell you guys all the time I'm passionate about helping women go for the things they want in their life, starting the business, I really needed to think about that. And so for you, really think about why it is that you started your business in the first place, and how can you allow that why to fuel you when you feel unmotivated. It's such a huge, important piece of the puzzle when it comes to entrepreneurship, especially when you are a solopreneur. You have to be connected to your business in some way. If it's all just about the money, it's very disconnected. It's not really a situation where you feel like your heartstrings are involved. It's really just like, okay, I'm just trying to get a quick check. But really, when your heart is tied to something, it just gives it this whole new level of wanting to continue, wanting to be better, wanting to grow. And for me, most importantly, wanting to touch even more women. And so that was really what I had to sit down and kind of address with myself and figure out. And from there, that allowed me to then say, like, okay, how can this project that I'm working on touch these women in this way? And then even deeper into my why is my daughter, y'all. Like, she has become a new part of my why over the last couple of years, because prior to that, when I had my business, I didn't have any kids yet. And so now it's like, I want her to see someone, even in the midst of the chaos, even in all of the hard times, to see her mom, to see a Black woman, to see that despite the setbacks and things that may come in my way, I still continue to do what I have to do to make my dreams happen. And so those things really are what fuel me. I took my break, but I was like, okay, I got to get back to it. I cannot let Emery down. I cannot let the women down that God has placed in my life. I love this platform. I love this channel so much. And so I knew that I would never just not come back. This is like such a huge passion of mine. And it's my why. Okay, so that's all I can say without like getting super deep and super cry-like and all that stuff. But for you, really think about what is the why behind your business, and share down below if you're still watching this. What is the why for your business? Why do you continue to do it? Or if you decide to take a break, why do you return? And then the last part is to start small. So you really want to pick what is the number one task on your mind that you want to start with. So for me, for example, I really have, like I said, I have 3 major projects that are coming up over the next quarter. I knew that my planner masterclass was number 1 in my head. I've been getting asked so many questions about it, and I knew that it was something that I wanted to focus on. And so that was the first thing I focused on yesterday. I sat down, I started planning out dates, I started writing down all of the different pieces and parts within the class and things like that, and just started finalizing the details so that I can share them. And so you have to really think about, when you decide you want to take a step back, but then you want to return, what is that thing that's always kind of in the back of your mind when you are on your break? Typically, that might be the thing that is calling you to have your attention when you do come back to it. And I've been thinking about that masterclass for a while now. And so that was what I decided to put my focuses in, especially like yesterday when I was planning some things out. And then I'll turn to the content and videos for YouTube and things like that. But I really had to get that out of my head because it was just getting to be too much. So that's my biggest tip for you, is to start small. Think about that one thing that's been on your mind, that one thing that you can start to build on. And it may be a longer term project. Maybe you want to create a planner, but really think about what are those first few steps you can take to just get started with it, to take it from it just really literally living in your mind as an idea, but start to actually make it something realistic. So that is my 5 just my 5 tips for getting motivated to want to get back started when you are in a season of negativity and overwhelm. And I really hope that this video has helped you guys, to help you if you are in that season. I know so many of you that commented on that video share that you are dealing with very similar things. And so I really wanted to share what I've been doing for myself personally and how I've been able to really not only just want to get back into it, but to really feel like I'm ready more than ever. And I really have to say, I think a lot of it really had to do with me starting to work out and just feeling better about myself. I feel more energized, I feel more excited, and it's just something that I never really would have thought that I would have been so interested in, because I've only ever done it for like a week at a time here and there, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, no. Or you know how like you work out, you get sore, and then like you be like, oh, I'll come back to it, and you take like a couple days because you're sore. Like that's always been me for years and years. And so to truly have been doing it for this long is like a miracle to me, but it's really been saving me a lot. And so if you have not been finding ways to, take care of yourself in that way, maybe even try that out. Find a quick program. The one I did was literally a 7-minute workout every day for 30 days, like 7 minutes. And those workouts would be really tough, especially if you're like out of shape and you have not done anything like me. So it was a lot, but it really helped me to, not get so out of breath when I'm doing things. And it really helped me to start to get in shape. And so now I'm in this new program I'm in, and it's a lot longer, it's a lot more intimidating, but starting with something kind of small like that and then working up to like more of a bigger standard type of workout program has really helped. And I guess that really is kind of a word in itself. Like really, start where you are, whether it's business, whether it's working out, whether it's whatever it is. Start small with where you are. Don't feel like you need to be like all these power players over here doing what you're trying to do. For me, I could have easily looked at some of these people online and be like, oh my gosh, well, they're doing like 50-minute workouts. Let me start with that. I wouldn't have been ready for that. I would have been super intimidated. I would have been out of breath within the first 30 seconds, and I would have probably given up. And so I had to humble myself down a little bit, and I was like, 7 minutes, like, what is this crap? But it ended up being the best thing ever. And sometimes we fail to do that. We fail to feel like we want to just kind of slow things down a little bit, or we want to just start small instead of focusing on such big visions and things like that. All of that will come, but just start right where you are. And that was not even part of this, but that was a really good way to end this. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what was your favorite tip down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.